You could still hear the moaning and the groaning from the video.
Each other, we're kind of all looking around, sharing glances, and we're like, yep, oh my goodness, that's moaning. And I know
You do. The jury is watching you buck naked, or maybe he had a burqa on.
Diddy probably wanted to watch it afterwards because the man's in jail. He doesn't see naked women very much, is my guess.
The judge couldn't take it anymore. His voice echoed across the courtroom when he shouted loud and clear, "Put that off. I've seen enough." The room froze. You could hear people shift in their seats. It was heavy.
Behind these doors, a jury seeing for the first time the world's been talking about for months. Videos of those notorious so-called freak-offs involving Sean Diddy.
Judge Arun Subramanian looked like he had just watched something that burned straight into his mind. That moment said it all. Whatever they saw on that screen wasn't just graphic. It was disturbing. It left the judge shaken.
One had to turn their head away in disgust. They were up, they were attentive, they were taking notes, and they were puzzled by what they were seeing. It was a really, really weird moment.
Now, before we get into the madness that went down, let's rewind to how this circus even started. This whole thing has been building for weeks. This trial has been painting a darker picture with every court session. It's not just about fame anymore. The charges on the table are serious. Sex trafficking, racketeering, and that's just the surface.
As we near the end of the government's case, this was the first time that these videos were fully shown.
Diddy entered the courtroom like it was another day on stage. Pale blue jacket on, a little bounce in his step, and throwing heart-shaped signs to the gallery like he was giving out candy. He played it cool, like nothing was bothering him.
Diddy walked in wearing a pale blue sweater. He was calm and he was collected. And before taking his seat at the defense table, he turned to the gallery and he did the old, heart-shaped emoji with his hands, like he's been doing most days, and mouthed the words, "I love you."
But the mood was different today. His kids weren't there. Not a single one showed up. No hugs, no waves, just empty seats where his usual support team would be. That silence was loud. He might not have shown it, but it had to sting. Today, he stood alone.
You got to have your family to show support, but as a father, I would never want my children to hear this stuff, yet they've been there every day, except for today.
Still, court moved on. The judge stepped in. Jurors took their seats. The court clerk spoke, and that's when things started to shift. The clerk said the trial was close to its final stage, but first, the court needed to go through video evidence collected from Diddy's mansion during the raid, and also from Cassie Ventura's laptop.
Excerpt videos or freak-offs played in the courtroom for the first time today. The videos coming from a laptop belonging to Cassie Ventura.
That was the turning point. The room tensed up, phones were down, eyes were fixed, but the clerk made it clear, for safety and to protect any identities, these videos wouldn't be played publicly. Only the judge and jurors would see them. That was enough to stir up whispers. People knew something big was about to go down.
Well, there's been a change to that, and so now only the jury is going to be able to view those freak-off videos.
If you think about it, people are victimized on videos all the time. Snuff videos, videos, all the time. And so if you open that up to the public, you are victimizing people again. And several of the people in this trial took the stand as victims, according to the government.
Then came the moment the court started the session. 3 tapes were submitted as evidence.
But today, each and every juror got a set of headphones, and they were forced to watch 3 clips that rolled on the monitors in front of them.
And let me tell you, these videos were not like short clips. They were lengthy, uncut versions. From what was said, it was graphic enough to make some feel sick.
One of the videos lasted 11 minutes, but the other video, it was a lot longer. It was like 40 minutes, like 51 minutes apart.
These raw footages revealed a different side of the story. One no one was ready for. The screen was set up, headsets were handed to the jurors. The idea was to keep the audio locked away from the rest of the gallery, but everything cannot stay hidden.
When it came time to play these video excerpts of freak-offs, jurors put on headphones, so did the lawyers and Sean Combs. The public screens were shut off because the gallery was not allowed to see or hear these explicit videos. But as the excerpts played, we could faintly hear the sound of music and moaning noises.
But what was even more shocking that the videos was what Diddy said before the video started playing. He raised his hand and asked to speak. He said, "I'd like to watch the tapes with the jurors." That was it. He wanted to sit through the whole thing.
Oddly enough, Sean Combs, he's the one that later on requested that he have access to watch the freak-off tapes in the back.
His lawyers didn't see it coming. Even the prosecutors looked around confused, but the judge gave the green light. No objections. Just like that, Diddy was allowed to watch the very footage that could take him down. Then the screen came on, and what followed was a wave of discomfort. The women on the jury were covering their faces. Some peeked through their fingers. Others looked away completely. The men didn't fare much better. A few were rubbing their temples. One kept shaking his head slowly. It was disturbing. Nobody expected that level of raw exposure.
Female jurors actually looked away in disgust. Not all, but some looked away in disgust. The males, interesting enough, were leaning forward, wincing, going back, rubbing their heads. Whatever they were seeing on those screens, because we were not privy, it was shaking everyone.
And while all that was happening, Diddy was locked in, watching and pacing around the courtroom. His posture changed, shoulders up, eyes wide. He looked like a man proud of what he had done, like he wanted everyone to see it and know he had no regrets. He circled the back of the courtroom slowly, as if he was reminding everyone that this was his moment, his world, his rules.
He actually looked like he was a little bit proud. He got a little step in that. He started moving around. He got this confidence to us.
But then things got even messier. Some jurors couldn't handle the intensity. They started adjusting their headsets, and that was the slip up. One side came off, just enough for sound to escape. That's when sound from the video started leaking out into the courtroom, dirty noises, loud enough for everyone to hear. The silence broke. The entire room turned into one giant awkward pause. It wasn't supposed to happen, but it did.
And I noticed that some of the jurors kind of had their headsets on halfway on their ears, covering them. So maybe the sound was kind of escaping that way, but we definitely heard part of video number 2.
And that's when the judge snapped. He slammed the gavel. "That's enough. We've seen enough." His voice carried weight. He was done. The tape was stopped. He turned to the jurors and asked if they had all the evidence they needed. They nodded without a word. The day's session came to a close. But just before the court adjourned, another twist landed hard. The judge dismissed one of the jurors on the spot, not for anything related to the tape, but for lying.
There was a juror who was dismissed formally today, juror number 6. And another juror on the hot seat.
Yeah. Waiting to find out his fate.
This morning, the judge made it official and said that juror number 6 had to go because he'd been sleeping and living part-time with his girlfriend in New Jersey, but saying that he lived in the Bronx. And yeah, maybe he slept there and had a mailing address, but the judge wasn't happy that that information wasn't all disclosed.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Diddy and his lawyers looked stunned. That juror might have been a piece in a bigger game. Was something shady going on behind the scenes? Maybe. But now that plan, if it existed, just got blown up.
Diddy's team was not happy about losing this juror. That is clear. Late Sunday night, June 15th, they submitted a motion saying if this juror is in fact dismissed, we will most likely move for a third mistrial. And I saw Diddy's face as the jury was coming in this morning and juror number 6 was missing or dismissed, not there. He looked down and kind of just shook his head.
Diddy's team kept a straight face, but you could see the shift. The energy in that room turned ice cold. Nobody spoke. Everyone just watched him. No more smiles, no more heart signs, just tension. So now, the big question that everyone is asking, where does this leave Diddy? He pleaded not guilty. That was his line from the start. But after everything the court saw today, does that even hold weight anymore?
Of what the jurors saw, and I literally sat there and said he hasn't learned a thing. If somehow he pulls out a not guilty verdict, he is going to be hell on wheels.
Because when a judge is forced to shout and shut things down, when jurors flinch and look away, when the accused watches proudly, like he's at a private screening of his own highlight reel, something is broken. The verdict is coming soon. But what just happened today might have sealed his fate. We've seen trials fall apart and recover, but this one feels different. The footage wasn't just evidence, it was a full-blown revelation, and everyone in that room felt it. So what do you think? Will Diddy walk free after all this? Or is this the final chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.